right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for hopping on a Saturday early morning for those of us on the Pacific Coast, but those on the East Coast, I know you're kind of into your day now, but I'm just glad that you all have hopped on today because we always have some good golden nuggets to share with you that you can use in your business. So thanks for hopping on. And while our presenter, teacher, mentor gets ready for our call today, I'm going to go ahead and share how he and I met and became business partners. Back, it's been about almost 5 years ago. We were part of a company, brand new company, and we both went to the very first event. I was not part of his team. I did not know him. I met him very for like just a couple minutes that weekend. But we were at the very first event of that company, and 300 of us there went home. The person that sponsored me went home as well and did not continue with the business. And I had to make something happen because crazy me, I had never really done this type of business as far as the leadership part. Yes, I joined many distributorships and sold the product. That's what I thought I was supposed to be doing, just selling the product. Never became part of a team, never was onboarded to any company. And I'm telling you, I've been with many, mostly in the health and wellness space, but never had been part of a leadership team, never brought on to hear about how this whole thing works, no system, right? And so I needed to figure out how to do this because I sent a message to the CEO telling him that I was going to be a top leader in that company. What was I thinking? I'd never done anything like this. What is a leader in a company like this? I don't know. I don't know how it works. But I told him that. And, thoughts are things. And when you put something out in the world, usually your brain tries to make it happen. So I needed to figure out a way to make that happen. And I plugged into everything I possibly could. There was Facebook pages and that kind of thing with the company. And there was this gentleman that kept putting his number out to anyone that wanted to be mentored. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to reach out to this guy. So since his phone number was out there, now I tell you this story, but I also encourage him not to do this anymore. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But put his number out there for us. And I reached out to him saying, hey, I saw that you were offering your mentorship, and I would love to have you as my mentor. Because I could tell that he knew what he was doing. I watched him, I studied him, and I just really wanted to be a part of something that was going to be big. So I reached out to this guy. I had no idea if it was going to cost me any money. I didn't know what it was, but it was worth it for me because once again, my brain said I was going to do something. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it and get there. So I put the message out, and literally he didn't respond. He probably had so many people asking him to be their mentor or something, but finally the next day I did it again, and he responded back to me, and he brought me on, started mentoring me. I joined many different groups that he was participating in or leading, and started to just absorb everything that he was putting out. And we became very close. Like I said, followed everything, and I was doing well. My team was doing well, but once again, we were sideline. And I'm the type of person that, hey, anybody that helps me do something, I want to pay it forward, right? Got to tell you, he didn't charge me anything, just so you know. There's no charge. It was amazing. So I wanted to give back to him. And I literally reached out to the company and said, look, this man has poured everything he has into me so that I can learn how to do this. And that is why my team has grown so big. So I would like you to, I want to be on his team. I want him to benefit from what I'm doing. Took him about a month, but they did it. And ever since then, we've been very close business partners, friends, and just have stayed in touch. And I wouldn't be where I am today. This team wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. Many of you on the screen have been with us for those 5 years. And so it's been amazing. And I think it's great for all of you to know where we came from and to see why we're here today like this and why we're building like this team, Z Team, how we are. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce my business partner, my mentor, the amazing Mr. Micheal Zappia. This man has many, many different gifts in life, and he uses almost all of them. It's just, he's very infectious. His energy is infectious. People want to be around him. People want to learn from him. And we are just very, very blessed to have a team that has someone with his level of mentorship, his level. He's like a sponge. He's absorbed everything that his mentor taught him, and has paid it forward many, many times, time and time again. So with that being said, you guys, let's welcome to the screen our mentor, our path changer, as we like to say, Mr. Micheal Zappia. Micheal, take it away.
Thank you, Colette. I love hearing that story. I loved living that story with you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Man, Colette, it's been a whirlwind of 5 years, huh? I used to say to Colette in our last program, I said, Colette, listen, I go, and I got this from my mentor too. But I said, Colette, I see how hard you work, because she worked so hard. She worked her tail off. We built an organization with probably 7,000 people, I think safely to say about close to 8,000 people, Colette and I, in a year or so. And Annabelle was one of those people. Esther was one of those people. Some of the people on this team were a part of that experience. Trish and Lacey, if you know those names here. If you're new, you might not know everybody yet, but you'll come to know that we're just one big family. And we build it like that. We got together for mastermind retreats where we went to Colette's cabin, which I threw out there on a Facebook post. Colette, I don't know if you saw it. I already started to put it out. I put your cabin out there for rent for a for a retreat. And I got to tell you, it's those retreats and those masterminds we did that created the leadership that we currently have today. So when we put that out there, but my mentor said to me years ago, and I said to Colette, let me say what I said to Colette. We were building another program and it was a nightmare. There are a lot of nightmares sometimes in network marketing. And when a company is brand new, there's a lot of challenges and a lot of hiccups. And even we're experiencing those with Transact Card, right? There's no denying the fact that everything's not perfect. I listened to Colette the other day. She goes, things aren't perfect. Guess what? Things aren't perfect for any company. And I don't care if they've been around for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. There's always going to be challenges. There's always going to be speed bumps. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Write that down. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The teaching that you've been under the tutelage of now for months with Colette and the leadership here is all part of a blueprint that we put together about 5 years ago for that last organization that is in place right now for all of you. We have a system A to Z to help everyone become successful. I hope you all realize that you don't need to look elsewhere for mentorship and teaching. You got it all in-house here. There's nobody better. So everyone's looking for the grass is greener, the card is greener. I know the card is greener, but some people say the grass is greener. No, the card is greener, but the grass isn't. You can write that one down. I just came up with that one on the fly. The card is greener, but the grass isn't. Don't look elsewhere for leadership. You got it right here with Colette and all the amazing leaders on this team. But I said, Colette, I feel so bad because at the time we were working our tail off. And I, as the leader of that organization, started to do really, really well financially and make a really big check. And Colette was just right behind me. But it wasn't to the point where it made sense to her, or more importantly, made sense to her husband, Jeff. And Jeff was like, Mike, I don't understand. How come you're making this much and my wife's only making this much? I said, Jeff, just give it time. It's going to take off. Don't worry. And, you know, sometimes your spouse can be a little bit impatient, of course. And Jeff wanted to see the money rolling in. I used to apologize to Colette all the time and to many of the other leaders. And I said, guys, this is not the way this is supposed to look. This is not supposed to be this hard. This is not supposed to be this difficult to create an income. Trust me, we just got to get through the storm. And me and Colette put our head down. We would have never walked away from that company, quite frankly. We won't get into the reasons why. But the bottom line, here's the one thing you need to know about the two of us as partners. We're not quitters. We ain't going anywhere. We fall in love and we do everything we can to make that relationship work. So that's what you have here with us. We're not jumpers. We don't jump from program to program. When Colette brought this to me, quite frankly, after what happened to me about a year or so ago, I didn't know if I was really going to partake in another program, maybe for the rest of my life. But when she brought it to me and she said, Michael, we're doing this. I said, okay, we're doing this. And that's that. And sometimes you got to have those relationships in your life where you just trust that person and say, let's go. But no, you need to know we're not going anywhere. And I hope you understand how important that is, because a lot of times leaders will flee and go somewhere else. We ain't going anywhere. My mentor used to say to me, it was years ago when I was building a network with a company, and it was in the very beginning, Colette, you know about that past company. It was called VM Direct. And it's important that you all understand the timeline. Write in your notes timeline, because I want to set you up and I want to give you an expectation of what you need to understand about how much time it takes for something like this to actually make it. But in 2003, I got involved with a company called VM Direct. Let me share a little bit of my story to illustrate this point with you. But in 2003, January 2003, I got involved with a video technology company, and we started to build it, and the technology hardly ever worked. I mean, it didn't even work. 2004, still building the business for a year straight. And I got to the point where I was making about $1,000 a month. And I remember saying to my mentor, because my mentor taught me everything that he knew. I almost said he taught me everything that I knew, but that's not true. A mentor can teach you what they know, but they don't get to take credit for what you come to the equation with. Like with Colette, I mentored her, but she had a lot of things on the ball that, quite frankly, you can't teach. And I think many of you on the screen, all of you on the screen, quite frankly, have many things to bring to the table here. Check it in with this company. But my mentor said to me when things weren't working, and I was killing myself to make $1,000 a month. And my mentor, Richard, would tell me all the time, he goes, Michael, he goes, if you would have done what you just did here in the past year with the company like the one I was with 20 years ago, you'd be so successful you wouldn't even know what to do. It didn't really make me feel better, Colette, when he said that to me. It's like, well, that's great. He said, you wouldn't believe where you'd be right now. He goes, the energy, the meetings, and all the effort you put into building this team of hundreds of people. He goes, you would have thousands upon thousands if you were with a program. He goes, but you got to do me a favor. He was the CEO of the company, chairman of the board of the company. He said to me, you got to stick around long enough. He goes, I promise you. He said, stick around long enough. This will all make sense later. Well, I couldn't stick around long enough. So I was a quitter, just so you guys know. I quit in 2004. And I say that for a reason. I want you to know what this industry is like. And I want you to know from my personal story what this can be like for you. I didn't technically quit. I said that for effect. I said, Richard, I called him up one day. I said, Richard, when this company gets their act together, please call me back. I go, but I got to go make money. I got to pay my bills. I can't do this anymore. So in 2004, I took a break from the company. I got involved in the mortgage industry. Anyone remember 2004, the mortgage industry? I think everyone became a loan officer in 2004. So I became a loan officer. I started to make $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month. I was calling my mentor. I go, Richard, you can keep that network marketing garbage. I'm making a lot of money over here just helping people with mortgages. And he called me up on March 1st, 2005. It's a great story. And he said to me, Michael, can I have a few minutes of your time? And he was still my mentor. Now, I want you to know that from 2004 to 2005, I was still making $1,000 a month. Every month, that $1,000 was paying my rent every month, but I wasn't doing anything to build the business. So residual income, that's what this business is about. Residual income. It's the best kind of income. And he called me up. He goes, get in front of your computer. And I got in front of my computer. And all of a sudden, I was listening to him through my phone. And then I was hearing him in my computer, like in stereo with a little bit of a delay. And I go, Richard, where's the other voice coming from? He goes, look at your computer screen. And there was my mentor talking to me just like I'm talking to you. And it was the beginning of the video revolution is what I called it. And I looked at him and I go, oh my God, Richard, it works? He goes, it works. And you guys got to keep in mind that we're going back to a time when nobody was doing Zooms. Nobody was seeing YouTube. There was no video. I want you to know it's the first time I'm staring at a laptop and I'm seeing my mentor talk to me. Now, he was only about half the size of the video Colette is right now, like itty bitty little video. And I'm looking at it. I go, Richard, he looked at me, he goes, Michael, it's ready. And I said, it's ready? He said, yeah. So what does that mean? He goes, we're going to take this thing to $1 billion company. He said, it'd be a shame if we did it without Micheal Zappia. And I said, you son of a, And guys, in that moment, I was done. Many people don't believe this part of my story, but I let go of an opportunity to fly to Philadelphia and become a Philadelphia Eagle. I had the business card of the special team coach, John Harbaugh. You might know that name. Some of you on the screen might follow football. He's now the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. John Harbaugh loved me and wanted me to be the next punter for the Philadelphia Eagles. And as a part of my story, I never called him. And you'd have to know how important football is to me for me to not make that call. But I literally saw where that company was going. I mean, look at us right now. We're on the screen doing a video conversation with like 34 of us right now. I saw this happen before it happened. So here's my question for all of you. Do you see Transact Card happening before it happens? Do you have the vision? I'm not asking any of us to be visionaries. That's Peter Rancy. That's Richard. That's those guys. Those are the visionaries. But can you see? You know, I know Mark is wearing glasses, but Mark, can you see? Do you have vision right now? All you got to do now, and this is the lucky part for all of us, we didn't have to create this company. We just got to go out there and promote it. We just got to go out there and share it. But we got to do it like pros. Like, I want to work with a group of people, the 34 of you on the screen that decided to show up this morning. I get excited about this. I've been putting a lot of time into Transact Card, more than I have in the past 6 months. I've been spending a lot of time with certain individuals who have come to me and said, Michael, will you teach me? And I take that very seriously. I won't work with everybody. I can't work with everybody one-on-one. But if the right person comes to me and says, I want you to spend some time with me and help me get this off the ground, I'll talk to you and I'll find out if you're serious, because my time is precious, just like everyone else's. But I don't have a lot of time at all. And whatever extra time I have, I need to work with people who are serious about building a business. So the first thing I want to ask all of you is, do you see yourself successful with this program? Like, without a shadow of a doubt, do you already see in your mind right now that you are already on that stage like Colette was at the last event as a senior vice president? Do you see yourself as a president? Do you see yourself as a galactic ambassador of Transact Card? Whatever the rank is that's going to be above president, because there's a rank coming, I want you to look and think bigger than wherever it is. And I just want to know if you see yourself there, because that's the first step. You have to see it happen before it happens. In your mind's eye, you need to see yourself with a successful group of people. How many people, when you get on a Zoom like this, think to yourself, God, I can't wait till I have a meeting with this many people on my team? Anybody like that on this screen? Is there anybody? And granted, there's only 34 people here, 35 people. Correction, nope, back down to 34. We just lost somebody. And anyway, someone's coming back in. We're back up to 35. Anyways, but do you see yourself as a leader? If you do, you've already been being taught by the best of the best. We're teaching you all the things that you need to do. You know what's great about this? There's a lot of things to learn. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. As I start to mentor Mark Langley's group on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, as I start to mentor all the different, I was working with Christy, and I'm just working with a few different people right now. I want to know if they see themselves duplicating what Colette did. Duplicating. Like plugging in for as long as you can until you've learned what you've needed to learn to go out there and go do what you got to do to build that size army or bigger. I hope there's people on the screen who are like, oh, no offense, but Colette's kind of short. She's very little. I think I can beat her. I know I can beat her up if we were in a fight. I wouldn't bet on that if I were you. She's like a little pit bull. But the bottom line is, do you see yourself doing it? Do you watch Eric Allen and think to yourself, if this guy, I know he's really good looking. He looks like Tom Brady, which is, I have a man crush on Tom Brady, which technically means I might soon have a man crush on Eric Allen. But do any of you look at Eric Allen and say to yourself, wow, this guy's really good looking. He's well-spoken, but I can do that. Anybody? Do you think he's got anything on you? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And I don't care who you are. You know why? Because the truth of the matter is, Eric is only as good as his organization. He can only lead the people that are willing to follow him. Colette is only as good as the people she's able to mentor and follow her. So for the next however many time we have together, guys, I want to start just first of all, I want to acknowledge something. There's over 1,000 people on this team right now. It's probably close to 1,100 or 1,200 right now. Colette knows I'm not big on caring about looking at the numbers. When they start growing by the thousands, then I'm going to start to care. Right now, when we're growing by 10 or 20, where are we at, Colette? I know you're about to tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. No, it's about 12.
Okay. So we're about 1,200 people. That's awesome. Before you know it, on a Zoom soon, we'll be 2,000 people. Then 4, then 8, 16, 32. This team is going to the moon. But I want to acknowledge the fact that there's already a system in place. It's world-class. There's 2 meetings that we have every single week. And here's the thing. We ask you to be here. And more importantly than you just being here, we ask you to have your team here. And I hope you guys understand why. If we want to grow at the rate that we want to grow, we need to lead more leaders. We need more people plugged in that want to lead and duplicate. And 35, as great as it is to have 35 people out of 1,200, sure would be nice if we had 120. I think 10% will be a lot nicer. Is there anyone on the screen that has somebody on their team that is not here right now? Raise your hand. So guess what? We must do a better job of tagging them on posts. When I see a post like Colette just put up this morning, I designed her a graphic and I wanted her to put the post out because at this stage in the game, Colette's got the attention of every single one of you, but some of you see the Zappia guy and you're like, who the heck posted that? I don't know this guy. I'm going to skip by it. Colette put up a post this morning.
Last night.
Last night. I'm sorry. Yeah. There it is right there. And here's what I'm seeing. It reached 75 people. There are 10 people, 1 person that commented and 10 people that liked it. For me, this is a problem. For me, this is a problem. We're not asking you to be glued to the ZTEAM Facebook page, but we're asking everyone to engage and plug in. If we had 10 times as many people or even 3 times as many people on the screen and we can teach these basics and get people off the ground, the business is going to grow even faster. And why do we want to teach you that? Because when you have your own screen and you're building, you're going to want engagement from your teammates. Now, I'm not the dad or the boss or the CEO yelling at any of you on the screen. As a matter of fact, you're in business for yourself, not by yourself. It's a volunteer business. You show up if you want to show up, you come when you want, you leave when you want. Let me paint a little picture for you about being serious about the business. I think one of the main reasons why I was successful and have been successful in this type of a business is number 1, because I had the best mentor in the world. And you know what my best mentor said to me when I first met him? He said, Michael, when you come to my house for a meeting, you're 5 minutes early. You're not 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early. I don't want you at my house that early. 5 minutes early. He goes, if you're a minute late, don't even come in the door. Go back home. Don't call me. Don't give me an excuse. I don't want to hear it. I was like, geez, this guy's really rough on me. And then he said to me when I started to build a team, he said, Michael, he said, when you're building your team, he said, we're going to have a meeting once a week. It's going to be a training, a teaching. Guys, we're doing it right now. This is the protocol system. Write that in your notes. Protokall. I coined that concept. Protocol. Everything Richard taught me was protocol to me. Protokall, not the way you normally spell protocol. He said, Michael, there's a training once a week. I need you to run that meeting and I need you to be there every week and I need all your people to be there. You know what he said to me? He said, what happens if Micheal Zappia doesn't show up? I go, then there's no meeting. He goes, you think you need to be there? I said, yeah. He said, everyone should treat it like they're the leader and everyone shows up. I was like, ooh, that's really good. He said there's going to be a once a week business opportunity. These were the days before video really took off where we could do this business almost exclusively on Zoom. Although I love what I'm seeing some of the teammates do on this team from Oklahoma that are doing home meetings. Oh my God, that group of people in Oklahoma has got me so damn excited about network marketing again, because they are doing it the way I want to do it here in Albuquerque. Number 2, they're going to have a home meeting once a week, an opportunity. You're there and your team's there. And he said, number 3, when the company does a big national event, you're there and your whole team's there. He said, you do those 3 things for me, Michael, and I'll keep working with you. He said, the moment you don't do one of those 3 things, he said this, he goes, I'll love you. He said, I'll love you. I'll always say hi to you. I'll be your friend, but I'm not going to be your mentor. And I want to tell you why he said that to me. He said that to me because if I didn't have a system in place and I wasn't willing to walk in the shoes that he walked in before me, he couldn't guarantee me success. He never said these words to me, but I bet you if I can bring him onto a training, bet you if I bring him onto a training, we'll have 300 people on that training. Anybody want to meet my mentor? I haven't talked to him in 5 years, but let me see if I can get him on. Guarantee you'll see if I can get Richard to come here, 300 to 500 people will show up on the Zoom. And I ask you, why? You don't really know him. You don't know him any more than me. So why would 300 people show up and 36 show up for me? One word, and I got to teach you this word, edification. Edification. Write it down in your notes. Edify. It's a secret weapon. Before I did this Zoom this morning, I said, Colette, I'm just going to listen to my gut and my intuition as far as where we need to take the team this morning and the leaders this morning. That's you. And I'm glad I'm hitting on these points and sharing these stories because these are the things that are hopefully going to make a difference for you. We're going to get into how to invite and how to prospect. And quite frankly, Colette's told me, Michael, we're teaching it all the time. The company's teaching it the same way we teach it. So you guys got all the mentorship in the world right now, all the teaching in the world. My advice to you is plug in like your life depends on it. Because quite frankly, it does. If you treat it like that. So where was I, Colette? I just lost my thought before I slipped into that.
Edification, and then you're going to.
Thank you. Edification. In my very second network marketing meeting, there was a guy that was invited to come down to Vegas to be a guest presenter for a meeting I was putting on. My mentor at the time, his name was Mark Rosales. He says to me about 2 weeks into a business with my first company, not the video company, a different company. He said, Mike, how about I come to Vegas? You think you could put a couple people in a room for me? And I said, a couple people? Like, what do you mean? He said, well, if I come down and we have a meeting, how many people you think you can put together? Now, here's what I did. Here's what he didn't understand about me. I didn't know what was good or bad. I didn't know network marketing. So when he said, how many people you think you can put in a room? I said, I don't know, 50. He said to me, 50 people. You just started 2 weeks ago. You think you could put 50 people in a room? And I said, yeah, I know a lot of people. I think I can do it. He goes, okay, well then go find a local hotel. I go, I work at the Monte Carlo Hotel. He goes, go pick a hotel room and start telling people when the meeting is and make some flyers up and blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, you got it. So when he showed up at the Monte Carlo that night, we only met once in person and we didn't have video back then. So we forgot what I looked like. And he walked right by me. And I remembered what he looked like. And he walked by me. I'm like, Mark, where are you going? He goes, Michael. He goes, is that your room? And I go, yeah, that's my room. And he says, all those people? I said, yeah, those are my people. It's my sister. That's my brother. Those are my friends. It's a client I train at the gym. Yeah, these are my people here. 75 people in the room. 2 weeks, 75 people. He should have never acted surprised because like I told you, I didn't know if I did good enough. I'm like, oh, I hope there's enough people here. 75 people. How many of you would love if you just enrolled somebody and 2 weeks later, they put 75 people on a Zoom? Would anyone be excited? Here's a better question for you. Are you ready to lead 75 people like this? Annabelle, you bring in someone new, like a Micheal Zappia comes in, and I'm not bragging about myself. I'm ridiculous. Everything I do, I got to be the best and beat the best. But if you bring someone like me into your team, I want to ask each and every one of you on the screen, are you prepared to lead that army? Like really prepared? Are you ready to? Because listen, Colette, as wonderful as she is, she can't do that many three-way calls and Zooms when we find a leader. When a real monster joins our team, which that day's coming soon, I need to know that we're all prepared and ready to lead that person. You bring in somebody like that and your life will change like this. Now, write this in your notes. That leads me to my next point. And I have so much to teach you guys. There's a reason why Colette and I got together at her cabin with 10 or 15 of us like Tomas and Trish and Lacey and so many of our closest friends in the world that we love more than anything. There's a reason why we gathered in a cabin for 4 or 5 days. I had a lot to teach, right, Colette? And we didn't only teach it in that cabin for 4 or 5 days. We taught it over and over and over every single Saturday. And I still have things that I haven't taught Colette. I still have things that I bet you there's a lot of things that I'm going to unravel as we spend time together. But write this in your notes. If you find one unbelievable Transact card partner in the next 12 months, one, Consider yourself the luckiest person in the world. You find one Colette Daniels in 12 months. Would everyone agree life would be a lot better if you enrolled Colette Daniels in this program? Yes? Because along with Colette comes all of us, right? So if you can find a Colette that has a story about 5 years ago, she had been in a lot of network marketing companies, but she never found a leader. She never had a mentor. They never had a system. How many of you can relate to Colette's story prior to finding a mentor? Guess what? There's not many of us out there. You got to get lucky to find somebody who knows what they're doing in this profession. There's a lot of people who haven't a clue as to how to build a network marketing business and claim to be leaders. That's not us. We're the ones who know how to do it. We've got the t-shirt to prove it. If you find one unbelievable person this year, go to bed at night and just thank God every single day. Thank you, God, for finding me one. And here's the best part. You don't have to be the one who finds the person. It's just got to be somebody in your organization who finds that person. Is everybody with me? I hope that makes you feel better, because when my mentor said it to me, I go, oh my God, just one person? He goes, Michael, just one. He goes, if you find two, write this down. If you find two, you're the luckiest person on the planet. You don't deserve a Mark Langley and a Colette Daniels. Like, seriously, who do you think you are getting into this industry and finding two great leaders? He said, Michael, if you find three over the course of a year in your entire network, give the third one to someone who deserves it, because you don't deserve three unbelievable people. And of course, he was joking. Folks, don't ever give away somebody unbelievable to somebody else, okay? Keep that person for yourself, because that person's going to want you to work with them. So I hope this gives you a perspective of what this business is like. Now, how many of you think in the course of the next 12 months, by December of next year, you can find one person who can take off with this business in the way that this team has? One. How many of you think you want to stretch and go for two? And how many of you want to be really selfish and find three? When you find those people, here's what I need you to know. You must be ready to lead them. They might be a stronger leader than you. You must be ready to support them. You might find a stronger leader that's already on the ball that probably won't need your leadership, but you know what they will need? They're still going to need your third-party credibility. They're going to need you to know that presentation. Write this in your notes right now. What Colette and I need from you, what we need from you, what we need from us as leaders, and I'm working on it right now. I've been doing presentations. They're terrible, just so you know. I'm doing the worst presentation that you can possibly do with Transact Card, because I haven't watched anywhere near the number of Zooms all of you have. But you know what? I'm doing it. Nike said it best. Just do it. I got a phone call. Robert Chin put me on a 3-way call. I did the best presentation I could for him. It probably stunk. I wanted to call Colette 5 times. I'm like, do I even know what I'm saying here? Like, I'm answering questions. I don't think I have a clue as to what they have. But guess what? Here's what I need from you. Here's what we need from you. You must learn this presentation. I'm not asking all of you to do the presentation right now, although some of you probably are. And I encourage you to, especially for your team that brings people to you. That's your role. You could keep bringing them to Colette for a little while, but she needs you to learn it quick. Here's the thing. Be the best you can be. Write that in your notes. Be the best you can be. You don't have to be me. You don't have to be any of the other leaders on the screen. You just be you. You don't have to be Eric. You don't have to be Aaron. You don't have to be Brett. You don't have to be John McKillop. You don't have to be Peter Rancy. All you got to do is be the best you can be for your team. But if we're going to build an army here, I want all of us to learn this presentation. Do we agree? Are we on the same page? Colette, does everyone have access to the slideshow, the most current slideshow?
It's in the digital office. Everybody has it.
Awesome. Can you guys spend some time as you're watching a presentation, start imagining you doing it? Because when you find that person that shows up with 75 people on the screen, you know who's going to be doing lots of presentations? You. Some of you might be like, I don't think I want to do this business. I don't want to be doing that many presentations. Yes, you do, because it's a lot of fun. And once you do it, you can ask Colette. It's like pulling her string. It's the same stuff that comes out every single meeting. It's over and over. It's repetitive. Wow, that Colette's unbelievable. I can't wait till I do it like her. When you do it as many times as she's done the presentation, do you think you'll be able to do it as well as you can do it? Not as well as she can do it. Some of you might do it better than Colette can do it. I know I'm not the best presenter in the world. I know I'm not the best teacher, the best mentor. I'm not the best anything. Now, I desire to be the best, but I know that there are people out there better than me. I'm not concerned with being the best right now. I'm concerned with building an efficient business that duplicates. And we need for you to learn that presentation, please, pretty please. We need for you, number 2, to learn Zoom. We're on Zoom right now. This is some of the basics we're covering. Got to learn how to use Zoom. For those of you who just showed up here and you know how, I know how to do Zoom. I click on that link every time I'm here. No, I want you to learn how to run the screen. Colette will pick on some of you from time to time to be a co-host. That's how you can learn it. It's one way, but here's an assignment for all of you. Can I give an assignment, Colette? Are we allowed to do that here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Go to Zoom, call the 1-800 number and book a one-on-one 30-minute presentation on how to use the product with one of their trainers. Free. 30 minutes, you book a Zoom, you will become Zoom perfect by the time you're done. So simple. Now, I see some people on the screen that have a little bit of life experience. I can tell by Mark's head, it's kind of bald in the middle and it's white on the side. He's been around a couple years. Okay. I don't see a bunch of spring chickens on the screen, and that's okay. I'm not trying to put anyone down. I'm 49 years myself, just had a heart attack. So I'm not a spring chicken either. Here's what I'm trying to say. Some people, as they get older, think that they don't have to learn this stuff. Yes, you do. We're asking you to become as proficient on Zoom as all of us. My mom said to me for years, Michael, I don't know how to do this CD player thing. I go, Mom, you see the VCR, you know how it's a big weird shaped tape and you stick it in that hole? She goes, yeah. I go, you got the CD in your hand, you got to stick it in the hole. She goes, that's all? I go, yeah. Took her about 2 years to figure out how to stick the CD in the hole. Now she knows how to use a CD player. I hope my mom doesn't watch this because I don't want to embarrass my mom or throw her under the bus. But listen, technology is hard to build. It's not hard to use. That's the reason why it's successful. This Zoom, if you're thinking, oh, I don't know if I can do, I've heard this from Christy said to me yesterday, Michael, I don't know. I'm not really good with the technology. I go, Christy, stop it. Stop it. Yes, you can do this. You can do this. Then it's like a monkey can do this. If a monkey can do it, you can do it. You're overqualified. So, Colette, I know we're getting towards the end of our time together, and I don't want to exhaust too much here, but I do want to let you guys all know that here's what I want to do for this team. I want to come alongside of Colette as her real partner and crush this with all of you. I'm going to start enrolling lots of people so this ecosystem grows. We're going to do this together as a team, as a family. And I want to produce as much mentorship and teaching as I possibly can, because I've already been listening to the people I've been working with. And Marjorie, if Marjorie Perkins is with us this morning, there she is. How you doing, Marjorie? Me and Marjorie had a beautiful conversation. You can unmute the line, Marjorie, if you'd be so kind.
I'm here.
How you doing, Marjorie?
I'm great.
Good. It was a pleasure meeting you and speaking to you. Thanks for reaching out to me. We had a wonderful call the other day. I don't know if you enjoyed it as much as I did. I loved it. And here's what I love the most. I loved getting your messages blowing up mine and Colette's phone yesterday on a group text message. And I loved your enthusiasm, but oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm setting appointments. This is great. Do you have anything, Marjorie, that you'd like to share? Because I'm blown away by what you've done here in the past 48 hours.
It's not as hard as you think it is. And once you engage with people you know, your warm market, and you talk and you visit, it comes so naturally. Because they respect you, they know you, you have integrity with them, and they're willing to tag along.
Excellent. Marjorie, you ready to become president?
Yep.
Let's do it. I actually thought about calling Colette last night and saying, let's have Marjorie do the training. Let's have her do the teaching. She could have showed you what little shifts she made. And I encourage maybe in the future, Marjorie, as you start to build a massive team, tell people what little shifts you made over time to get to where you are eventually going. We're going to call on you to do that. But I know for a fact you're going to build this thing and build it huge. And I'm excited to work with you and know you.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Awesome. Well, I love you guys. I went 10 minutes longer than I think we prescribe on Saturday morning. So I'm going to throw it back to our leader, Colette Daniels. Colette, take it away.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was wonderful. One thing I do want to point out is that Michael is on limited time. And what I'm going to work with him, instead of doing those one-on-ones and those, individual team calls, is we're going to start on Wednesday night using those calls to do mentorship as well. I just think it's more important to grow as a team than the individual calls, because we will make a much bigger progress and have much more success if we do it that way. I know a lot of you are excited because now you want to reach out to him. I know. I've been around him for 5 years. I know how that works. But we're going to start using our time much more wisely. He's got a business that he is working along with this, and he is, like you can see, an animal, and he puts 100% into no matter what he's doing. So he's always told me you can't ride 2 horses at once. Okay. He's riding 2 horses at once right now, but I know he can do it if we do utilize his time wisely. So like I said, I know a lot of you are excited thinking, oh, I'm going to reach out to Micheal. We will put him on the screen Wednesdays and Saturdays. And that's where I want you to plug in. Very, very important to plug into those 2 calls. And we will get as much out of him as we possibly can in those 2 calls. So thank you, Micheal, for joining us today. And every time you join, it's very exciting to listen to your energy, very infectious. So thank you guys so much. And there will be corporate call. Liz and Nick are actually going to be interviewing some of their people, I believe, today. So I know Micheal said, we have everything here that you need to know, but as a company, there's always going to be nuggets from different leaders, right? Not everyone knows everything.
True.
Everyone has different ideas. And some of us resonate with some people and not others. So I always encourage, if you have time, plug into those calls as well. And we don't always say, use their information, take and add it to what we do. Don't, throw ours completely out the window. If something they say works, then great, grab onto it. Add it to your repertoire. Okay. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you on Wednesday night. Take care and have a great day.